And good morning, Blue Jays fans. Welcome to Jays Latest. I'm your host, Craig Borden. We're going to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball right here on Jays Latest, and we're going to have a good time doing so, even though we had a loss yesterday. So why don't we dive right into it and step up to the plate? Make sure you hit those like, share, subscribe buttons, and we will obviously talk Blue Jays all day, every day. So a little bit of a frown last night. Blue Jays jump out to a giant 7-1 lead at one point in this game. And the Blue Jays just could not hold off what was the Minnesota Twins continuing to come back throughout the rest of this game. Chris Bassitt had a good outing. Offense was clicking. Bullpen, ouch. So specifically the big ouch. Jeff Hoffman only recording 2 outs in the ninth inning on his way to his 7th blown save. He now has an 8-5 record after picking up the loss in the Blue Jays game last night at the Dome. 2/3, like I mentioned, through this inning allows 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk. And it was on 2 home runs that he gave up all those runs. One to rookie Mickey Gasper, the backup catcher for the Minnesota Twinkies, hits his first career home run that really catalyzed this whole thing. In the ninth inning, he hits it off and gets it was just a solo home run. It shouldn't have been a big deal. Continues to put the Blue Jays in a place where they could do something with it, but it tied the damn ball game up at 4. At 4. And in the midst of that, the Blue Jays just could not, Jeff Hoffman could not keep it going at that point because he en routes to another 3-run blast by Matt Wallner. And Wallner has found a way to just destroy the Toronto Blue Jays every time he plays them. Also, a very young player doing a very good thing for the Minnesota Twins. The young right fielder picked up his 20th home run of the season. And he's, like I said, been a thorn in the side of the Blue Jays in this whole series. So, not the craziest thing in the world, but damn, really bad timing. Blue Jays lose games in advantage in the standings to both the Yankees and the Red Sox with this loss last night. Jeff Hoffman just rough, and it's incredible to me to see how the ups and downs of riding the roller coaster that is Jeff Hoffman as the Toronto Blue Jays closer, and it does keep things just like on the edge of your seat all the time. I made the comparison to Jason Frazier a few shows back and whatnot during his other bump in the wrong direction. Over his last 7 games, he has now got a 6.75 ERA. Obviously, most of that's blown up from last night. But he was finally heading in the right direction, and then you get this big ding again last night. Hopefully this is just a blip and he doesn't stumble back into what he had going a few weeks ago where he was very off his game, even with a ton of rest. It's the life of being a closer right there, 1,000%. But the Blue Jays need to find a way to get the bullpen to lock down. That was the only thing we really reinforced at the trade deadline outside of Shane Bieber. And it seems like it just hasn't gelled yet. And that's the unfortunate reality. Sir Anthony Dominguez has had a few outings where he's gotten dinged up. Louis Varland gave up another run in this one, technically credited with a hold. Brandon Little's had a couple of odds outings over the last few times, and Yariel Rodriguez has been almost averaging a run every time he comes out of the bullpen lately. The starters need to get deeper in the games. It's what it is. And they have a 6-man rotation, so you would think that we'd be able to use something to be able to make sure that those guys get deeper into baseball games and help that out. So, on that note, let's talk the offense, because George Springer is still mashing baseballs for a monster living, one of the leaders in he's in the leaderboards in a lot of things because he's just had an incredible season. 2 more home runs yesterday, both mammoth blasts. His 23rd and 24th home runs last night, driving this offense with a great performance. 4 for 5 in the leadoff spot, scores 4 times, including 2 RBIs. So truly being a catalyst, now batting .301. at the top of this Toronto Blue Jays attack. Nathan Lucas was also batting in the second spot last night. Went 3 for 4 and scored a run as well on a Dalton Varsho double in the ninth inning, where it looked like we might be able to just come back and give this thing a good power up at the end of the game. All the right things happened in the ninth. Scored 1 run to get within striking distance. Varsho's on second, and Vladdy's at the plate. Unfortunately, Vladdy just did not get a hold of the right thing. It didn't look like he missed it by much. It's probably about 5 meters short of the fence. So, and that end is what it is. Blue Jays lose. Bo Bichette still has 2 hits. Ernie Clement got back into the hit column with another pair as well. Offense did what it kind of needed to do, just couldn't come up with that last big moment in the ninth inning to really continue to keep this as a win for the Blue Jays and then secure what could have been going toward a sweep today. So on that note, let's talk Chris Bassitt, who had a decent outing yesterday. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs on the home run earlier in the game by youngster. What's his first name? Keyskull. But he picks up his 500th strikeout for a guy that has been, I wouldn't call Chris Bassitt a strikeout pitcher by any means. I think he's more of a finesse and outthinks all the batters. 3 walks yesterday to go with those 6 strikeouts in the 5 2/3 innings, but a solid outing that could have been a win for the Blue Jays from Chris Bassitt, which is his game. Get through innings, get it to the bullpen, bing bang boom, get a win. Parts of that worked last night. Blue Jays were in this game, just could not get anything to close out in the proper fashion, and unfortunately saddled with the loss. So, game 3 of the series is tonight. Eric Lauer will be making his return to the 6-man rotation after having the Get Things Right outing with Shane Bieber last Friday. Eric Lauer, as we had been talking on the show, is one of the best stories in Toronto Blue Jays baseball, currently leading all the starting pitching staff in WAR with an 8-2 record, 2.76 ERA on the season. Over his last few outings, he's had some really good outings against the Texas Rangers, the Colorado Rockies. Was a very short outing against the LA Dodgers, sandwiched between those two. But 4 hits in his last outing against Texas, only allowing 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He'll look to regain that a little bit against former Blue Jay top prospect Simeon Woods Richardson. 80 innings from him so far this year with a 4.24 ERA, a 5-4 record for the youngster. In his last 7 games, he's been kind of cruising. And by cruising, I mean he's got a sub-3 ERA in 33 innings of work. He's been doing pretty damn good over his last 7 outings, where he's wanting a 3-1 record with a 1.26 whip. It could be a test for the Blue Jays again tonight. For the offense that's been very up and down in the last couple of days, this could be a good test for them. The Toronto Blue Jays will look to come back with this one and get a win because they need to stay paced. Last night, like I said earlier in the show, we lost a game to the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox in the standings yesterday because they both won. And that's why I keep pace and stay ahead of both those teams, because the wild card and the division chases are vastly different on who you play in the playoffs. We want to win the division if we can. Not to mention, I just want to see another banner that says that, hey, we beat the Yankees and the Red Sox, go up at the Rogers Center. So, on that note, make sure you turn in here every day for Toronto Blue Jays baseball. I am Craig Borden, your host of Jays Latest. Make sure you hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. Also, tune into the Jaybird Watching podcast, my other show that is a live recording every evening. We are going to have Pat Malacaro, the voice of the Buffalo Bisons, to talk all things Bisons to begin the show. And then we will dive into live chat and all sorts of fun stuff with you guys this evening on Jaybird Watching. I will talk to you all soon. You have a great day, and go Blue Jays.